The version of you that never gives up is waiting on today's decision to elevator that never arrived. It was 7:10 on a cold Monday morning. 33-year-old Ethan stood in the lobby of an office building, waiting for the elevator. In his hand was a folder containing his resignation letter. For 5 years, he had dreamed of starting his own business. For 5 years, he had promised himself, one day. But every morning looked the same. Wake up, rush to work, complain about the job, go home exhausted. Repeat. The elevator doors opened. People stepped inside. Ethan hesitated. He looked down at the resignation letter. His heart raced. Then he folded it and slipped it back into his bag. Maybe next month, he whispered. The elevator doors closed. As he watched them disappear, he felt something strange. Not disappointment, not relief, just emptiness. That evening, while walking home through a quiet park, Ethan noticed an old sculptor chiseling away at a massive block of marble. Curious, he stopped. "You've been working on that all day?" The sculptor smiled. "I've been working on it for 3 years." Ethan looked confused. "It still looks like a rock." The old man gently tapped the stone. "No, it looks like a rock to you. I already see the man trapped inside." Ethan frowned. "What man?" The sculptor looked directly into his eyes. "The version of you that never gives up." Then he added, "He's waiting for one decision." Those words followed Ethan home. Meeting the stranger in the mirror. That night, Ethan stood in front of his bathroom mirror. He stared at himself longer than he ever had before. The tired eyes, the slumped shoulders, the quiet frustration. He asked himself a question he had avoided for years. Who would I be if I stopped quitting on myself? The room became silent. He remembered every abandoned dream, the guitar lessons he never finished, the marathon he never trained for, the online course he bought but never completed, the business plan collecting dust in a drawer. None of them had failed. He had simply stopped. Suddenly, he imagined another reflection. The same face, but different, confident, healthy, focused, peaceful. It wasn't someone else. It was a version of himself that existed on the other side of consistent decisions. The mirror hadn't changed. But Ethan finally saw what he had been missing. He wasn't fighting circumstances. He was fighting the habit of giving up, the 1% rule. The next afternoon, Ethan returned to the park. The sculptor was still there. Chip, chip, chip. The old man hadn't finished the statue. Not even close. Ethan laughed. "How do you stay motivated for 3 years?" The sculptor shook his head. "Motivation? I stopped depending on motivation decades ago." He held up a tiny piece of marble that had fallen to the ground. "This?" Ethan looked confused. "It's only a small chip." "Exactly. Most people underestimate what repeated small decisions become." He placed dozens of tiny marble pieces into Ethan's hand. One chip looks meaningless. 8,000 chips revealed a masterpiece. Then he smiled. "Become 1% better today. Tomorrow, do it again. 5 years from now, people will call you extraordinary. They'll never see the thousands of ordinary choices that built you." For the first time, Ethan stopped searching for massive breakthroughs. He began respecting small victories. The battle nobody saw. The next morning, Ethan woke up 30 minutes earlier. Not because he felt inspired, because he made a decision. He exercised for 15 minutes, read 10 pages, worked on his business before leaving for the office. Nothing spectacular happened. The following day, he almost quit. Rain poured outside. His body ached. His bed felt warmer than discipline. Then he remembered the unfinished statue. One more chip. He got up. Weeks became months. No applause. No viral success. No overnight transformation. Some mornings he doubted himself. Some evenings he wanted to return to old habits. But every time he felt like quitting, he imagined the stronger version of himself waiting patiently beyond today's decision. He refused to disappoint him. The hardest battles are rarely fought against the world. They are fought against the person who wants comfort more than growth. The storm that tested everything. 1 year later, Ethan finally left his job. He poured everything into his business. For 6 months, nothing worked. Clients disappeared. Bills increased. Friends questioned his decision. Family members suggested he return to his old life. Even Ethan questioned himself. One rainy evening, he walked back to the park. The sculptor's statue was finally complete. It was breathtaking. Every detail was perfect. Ethan stared in amazement. "When did you finish this?" The old man smiled. "I finished it long before you saw it." The final day didn't create the statue. It only revealed years of invisible work. Then he looked at Ethan. "Your life is doing the same. Don't confuse slow progress with no progress. Storms have a way of making invisible growth feel invisible, but roots always grow before branches." The man he finally became. 5 years passed. The park looked the same. The bench was still there. The trees were taller. The sculptor was gone. Only the statue remained. People traveled from different cities just to admire it. Nearby stood another man. Confident, healthy, calm, successful. A young stranger approached him. "Did you know the artist?" Ethan smiled. "He changed my life." The young man looked at the statue. "I wish someone would change mine." Ethan quietly replied, "They already can." The young man looked confused. "Who?" Ethan smiled. "The version of you that's waiting on today's decision." For a moment, the conversation felt strangely familiar, because years earlier, someone had said the exact same words to him. Now he understood. Transformation always becomes someone else's inspiration, the person waiting for you. Imagine standing in front of a door. Behind it is the person you could become 5 years from today. Healthier, wiser, more disciplined, financially stronger, emotionally calmer, confident enough to face challenges without running from them. You reach for the handle, but the door doesn't open. Instead, a voice comes from the other side. I can't come to you. You have to come to me. Every decision you make moves you closer or farther away. Every excuse delays our meeting. Every promise you keep brings us one step closer. Then everything becomes quiet. The choice has always belonged to you. No one can become this version of you on your behalf. No mentor, no book, no motivational speech, no opportunity. They can guide you, but only your decisions can transform you. The strongest version of yourself is not a fantasy. They already exist, hidden inside the habits you repeat, the courage you choose, the discipline you protect, the promises you refuse to break. One decision today, another tomorrow, then another, until one day, you realize you are no longer chasing the person you wanted to become. You have become them. If this message challenged the way you think, subscribe to the Legacy Mind, where every conversation is designed to help you think deeper, live wiser, and become more. Remember this, your greatest competition is not another person. It is the version of you that gives up too soon. The version of you that never gives up is real. They're simply waiting on today's decision to finally meet you.